Music wasn't my choice, actually. I'm the son of an opera singer. So my earliest memories are being in a recording studio while Mum was singing, or in radio stations while she was being interviewed, and there was always music around. We also grew up in the Sally Army, which is very musical. The moment you tap your foot in the Salvation Army, you get a brass instrument thrown into your hand. During homosexual law reform, I was a teenager and actually took the anti-law reform petition around door to door for people to sign. I think at that time, I probably knew that I was having feelings for other guys, but as I say, hadn't acknowledged them. I think I was destined for failure within the church, and that I was a questioner from day one. I wasn't prepared to accept verbatim. I wanted to know why. I came out to a few people in the church. It did not go well. So yeah, I broke contact very, very fast. I started looking for love in all the wrong places, as the song goes. I wanted to feel like I was attractive. I wanted to feel like somebody wanted me. I wanted to feel like I was still valid, and started going out with anyone who'd have me. And some of the relationship decisions I made were completely potty. Just people who were unable to give me the love that I wanted. Or more to the point, in several cases, people who felt pity for me, which I've since learned is never a basis for a relationship, and certainly never a basis for love. So of course those relationships lasted a very short period of time, and I ended up being dumped again. And that happened probably 5 or 6 times within a year. And it's self-perpetuating, it's reinforcing. I was very, very depressed. Very, very, very depressed. And just feeling quite morose and quite... I wouldn't say I was suicidal. I would say I was destructive. That particular night, I'd had a lot of alcohol and quite a bit of marijuana, and went to a sex on-site venue and saw somebody who, in my blotto state, I thought looked pretty cool, and we proceeded to start having sex. I remember there being a condom at the beginning. There wasn't one at the end. Went home to bed, and a few weeks later ended up being admitted to Auckland Hospital with seroconversion illness. I swelled up in the throat. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. The irony was, I was an AIDS warrior in my 20s. I'd come through the 20s and halfway through my 30s knowing full well about safe sex and how to avoid HIV, and had been preaching to other people about it, and there I was. At the time, I was actually dating a med student. So the first person I told was my then boyfriend, who on the spot dumped me. The reality of HIV from where I stand is that there is no pill you can give people to treat you the same as they would if you were negative. I felt alien. I remember it well in the first couple of years. On the occasion I would be out, I would see some guy looking at me and possibly cruising me, and I'd think, yeah. You think I'm attractive, but what you don't realise is that there's an angry monster inside that can kill you. I lost a lot of friends with my diagnosis. I don't remember anyone ever turning around and saying, I don't want to be your friend anymore. People just faded out of my life. I didn't go out, I didn't see people, I avoided phone calls, I didn't return text messages. I went away and hid. Dealing with the reality of an HIV diagnosis, I think, there's an element, I think, of that automatically brings up death. My death, how that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, what's going to lead up to that, how am I going to deal with that. I glorified and fantasised about, you know, that happening sooner than later. I'm back to creating again, which says to me, in terms of my own temperature gauge, that I'm overwhelmingly fairly healthy now. And not just physically. Yes, the meds are doing a fantastic job and they're working well, but where it really counts, emotionally and psychologically, I'm probably healthier than I've been for a few years. I've got friends back in my life, some key relationships starting to form again. Some of them very old relationships that are reforming. And meeting a lot of other HIV positive guys, and a lot of them aren't out about their status at all, and being able to talk to them about where they're at and how they're feeling, and feeling part of a subset of a subset of a subset of society. I like to look at it as a piece of software. You know, when I was diagnosed, I was version 3.8. There's been quite a lot of upgrades since then, and new functionality added, and bits of rubbish stripped out that never did work properly anyway. I love the notion that the first half of my life may have been a bit bung in certain areas, but I determined at a certain point that, and I hold to this, that the second half of my life is not necessarily going to have the same mistakes, probably different ones.